Spiritism on the lesson 2 lecture. We'll have kind of a long-ranging sort of discussion about this. So just looking at the picture, what would you surmise about Spiritism based on our little man today? Yes.
Like the things of like the spirit realm, I guess. So like, you know.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with the supernatural, with the spirit world. What were you going to say, Amos? He does. He looks like he's scared. Yes.
Believes in like spooky things, like scary things, like I don't know, like skeletons, like things that send shivers down.
Skeletons are real, and they all have them.
Like they're real. They're not real.
Otherwise,
No, he's quoting us something.
So there's the reason we're upright. Yes.
Rather than there being like one ultimate God, both male kind of have a what's the word, diminished kind of role. There's no like superior, like all powerful God. There's just kind of many meandering through our universe.
Good. Those are all good observations of this this slide. So the Spiritists reject the God of the Bible. Now, they don't reject the supernatural at all, but they do reject a personal God who made everything and gave us a way to know Him. Instead, the focus of the Spiritists is on the spirit world in general. And the spirit world is the reason for everything that happens in life. And the goal is to please the spirits. Wicca, I don't know if you've heard of Wicca, but Wicca is a big part of Spiritism. It's a lot of, probably the largest group of Spiritists is Wicca. And we'll go into some more detail as we go along here. But the spirit world, it just controls everything they believe. So the focus is on the spirit world, and it's a world of good spirits and bad spirits. And then they don't believe in a personal God, but they do believe in some sort of force that's known as God. So what you see here is that a personal God, right, Yahweh, is outside of the picture. They don't believe in that. But they do believe, I don't know if demigods is the right term for it, but they do believe in a spiritual world. In fact, the spiritual world is all that exists. In atheism, only the physical world exists. In Spiritism, only the spiritual world exists. So the focus is on good and bad spirits, and all life is interpreted through a spiritual lens, because the spirits control everything that happens in the world, good, bad, indifferent. And the whole idea is cause and effect. So we do something, and the spirits react to that. We're the cause, and then the it's really loud out there. And then the spirits react to that. So the whole idea is keep the spirits happy, and don't angry them. And so if you make the spirits happy, things go well. You make the spirits angry, then things go badly. Now the problem with that, there are a lot of problems with that, is that I'd like to say like century, but whatever. The problem with this whole thing is that I mean, I'm sure there's certain things that they believe, okay, I can't do that because it's going to make the spirits unhappy and something bad's going to happen. But largely, you never know. You find out what made them happy when good things happen. You find out what made them angry when bad things happen. But you may never know what you did. Is that fair? That's like me giving you a test and I never told you. That's not fair. I won't ever do that, by the way. So don't. Truth is found through a mediary, sometimes called a shaman, but usually called a medium. A medium is a person, and a shaman is a person who can contact the spirit world. Regular people can't do that. But a shaman or a medium can contact, like get messages from the spirit. Yes.
So how do you?
I don't know. I'm not sure I want to do that. And so contact with the spirit world brings one into communion with various spirits and what they call God, that the creative intelligence of the universe. And morals are determined by what pleases or irritates the spirits. So if something good happens, it's like, okay, well, after, I don't know, whatever you do, you knock over a liquor store or something, and something good happens to you, well, the spirits must like that. I don't know. But that you don't find out until afterward. Good works in life help ensure people a greater spiritual evolution through reincarnation. So just like many religions, Spiritists believe that when we die, we go through a succession of birth, death, rebirth, death, rebirth, death, and we reincarnate higher or lower based on our last life. So if we did what we were supposed to do, if we were a good little worm in the ground, then the next we might become, I don't know, a caterpillar, become a butterfly. Or if we're a human being and we didn't honor the spirits, like you were a Christian or something like that, then we'd be reincarnated lower. So
why do I even care? I feel like I won't go.
well, I think part of the issue, is if you can't,
I still feel like I want to be a worm.
I'm not sure.
We would be over.
Okay, but
Really
yeah, it'd be so
Yeah.
quick though.
Well, you wouldn't know because you don't necessarily remember. Like, some religions, I guess, they think
You do.
They can remember your past life, but some don't.
But not all of them.
Yeah, and some of them, they're like,
Yeah.
you're reincarnated, but you don't remember what your past
You
life
do
was.
right.
So I guess you can, that's where you can.
Yeah.
And then you become
How do you
a
do that?
bunny, but you
that's
don't
my
realize
question.
you were.
How the heck do you be good?
The only thing I've ever heard of
I have no
in
idea.
terms of knowing something about a past life is who you were. That's it. I don't think there's any understanding of specific things in that life. I read about a woman who believed that her granddaughter was the reincarnation of her grandmother. And there were reasons why she believed that. But she didn't know everything about that. And obviously it wasn't true. Yeah.
Do they believe that humans and animals were always, like, however the world was made or came to be? Do they believe like the first animals were already humans, or do they believe, because there had to be a first generation of animals, then do they believe that was before humans were, that animals just were, and are some animals just animals, or all
You
What's
were
their
in a
reason?
relation with somebody or something.
like, did they not have a soul before?
That was not a date.
I know, but if you want to talk, I would prefer you to. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that there is unity in because it's not a like this is one faith. Like it's not like Judaism. Like okay, we know what Jews believe. It's more a conglomeration of different spiritual ideas, and so I don't know that that we can know that that's Kate. So and it's a ringtone, so it's going to go on for a while. Just ignore it. It was lame last hour. It's like they don't know I have a job. But I'm not sure how I can. Sorry. So and then Jesus is seen as a positive model to follow, but certainly is not viewed as God or as Savior. And then just a little bit of background. Where did Spiritism come from? Spiritism came from Eastern Europe, from Asian cultures, and we see that in, I don't know if you're familiar with Wicca, but Wicca is a religion of witchcraft, and that comes from some of those Eastern Europe and Asian cultures, sometimes um, South American cultures as well. And as I mentioned already, moral values are determined by the things that honor or irritate the spirits. If you honor the spirits, it goes well. If you irritate the spirits, it goes badly. Kind of like with your teeth. Uh, and then Jesus is just a positive role model to spiritists. He's not anything more than that. So it's practiced by some tribal societies across the world. It came to the United States in the 1800s. There was a girl named Katie Fox and her sisters Leah and Margaretta. And around 1848, as a result of their contact with a dead person, so they'd gone to a seance, they soon began performing seances of their own to help other people contact the spiritual world. When we get to the end of this, I will talk about that in more detail, that idea of being able to contact the spiritual world. And then there's a guy named, was a guy in the 1800s named Allan Kardec, and he was supposedly a superior spirit and was able to contact spirits, and he wrote the Spiritist doctrine. It's kind of the Spiritist's Bible in the 1800s. And so then how does the Spiritist answer the 5 life questions? Oh, here's some examples of Spiritism. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it's called Harry Potter. And this is a TV show that was called Charmed. It was about 3 witches. I think they were sisters. I can't remember what this is called. It's witch because that's what it says. Obviously, it's a cartoon. And I have no idea. You know what it is?
No.
Okay.
It says it right there.
It just says that.
There's always
But it sounded like
that he's putting on a front page.
Yeah.
He's another anime here.
That guy is a well-known. I can't remember his name, but he is a well-known medium. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. So, from where did I come? God as the supreme intelligence, not a creator God, not a personal God, but He caused everything to be. And He's not described as a being. He's not a who. It's not a who. It's an it. So it created the universe and everything in it. And the spirits have incarnated into the material world as human beings. They die and they're reincarnated and they die and they're reincarnated. And why is there such a mess in the world? The problems and the ugliness in the world are the result of less advanced, imperfect spirits trying to incite human beings in which they dwell toward evil. So those people who are enlightened, those people who know the truth of Spiritism, they're good. Those who don't are bad, and they cause the troubles. Is there any hope? They're saying is without charity, there is no salvation. Charity would just be doing good things, right? So one's salvation ultimately comes through evolution by doing good things that make the spirits happy, and being reincarnated higher, and going through that series of deaths and rebirths. And so the goal is to uh, transform mankind through that series of rebirths. Is there any hope? I just answered that. And then what is my purpose in life? So our purpose is to just keep being reincarnated higher and bringing more good into the world and improving our spiritual journey through reincarnation. And then, why is it? What happens when I die? The spirit is continually reincarnated, and death is just a change of wavelength. That we'll move on to something else. And if we have time, I'll play a spiritist clip at the end. But I want to talk about something else first, and then we'll go back to that triangle, and then we'll watch that video. I'm going to read this to you. This is the. Oh no! I don't want to do that yet. I want to do this. So I want to talk about contacting spirits. Are any of them actually good? When they're having this seance and they're contacting spirits, well, let's start here. Do you think they're actually connecting with something supernatural? Maybe yes. Okay, maybe yes. Okay. So then do you think they are actually good spirits?
I would say that, yeah, they're contacting some actual, it's not the actual person. It is not the, I think it's something else.
So that isn't good? Yeah. They're not contacting their dead loved ones. They believe they are. But first, before I take your questions or your thoughts, I used to teach with a woman many years ago, not at Cornerstone, and she was adopted, and she lost both of her parents in a very short period of time, and she went to go see a medium. There was a very famous medium that was here in Omaha, and she went to talk to him, and he knew things about her parents that he could not possibly know. And not just things like, blue was your mother's favorite color or something like that. Really intimate things that only someone who knew them would have. So now, do you think that when this happens, when you have that sort of contact, do you think any of those things they're contacting are good? Yes, Eli.
I feel like in the spiritual world, I feel like anything associated with God, I feel like God is just not I don't think it's associated with God, so therefore I don't think it's good.
So
So first of all, it's the question of are they actually trying to like some spiritual realm or something? Because that's a being like a medium or something. That's a very easy job to just run a scam business off of and not actually believe in any of it. But if they do contact something in this quote unquote spiritual plane, then no, it wouldn't possibly be good or like the spirits of their loved ones. Because when you die, you're either in heaven or you're in hell. You don't just linger.
Roy,
I was gonna say that the experience could be good, like probably knowing that I contacted my parents probably felt good to her, but the impact is that she now believes that she can experience in some form or capacity, and those experiences can be good, but it's all a trick by the devil to draw you into it. It can make you feel good, make you feel better about yourself or your life, but it's still not from God.
Robert.
I mean, I feel like it has been some factors very heavily touched on, but like those are like demons, like they're coming from the devil. They know these things because he knows these things and he tells them to them. Like people are gonna be like, well, like, but how did you know that it was all fake? And it's not like it's all fake. It's just it's not a good, like it's not a good thing. Even though they're portraying it as, they're not doing what they're saying they're doing, but they are still like contacting that spirit realm. And so like Rose said, like it can make you feel good, but it doesn't make it actually good in any sense at all.
Okay, Natalie.
I think that like the Bible stay away from that kind of stuff because it's dangerous. And I think that because the Bible's so like heavily and clearly warned us to that it can't be good. Like God, and if God wanted us to be able to do it right away, He has that power. And if we want, like God also has given us ways to talk to Him through prayer and stuff. Like, it's not something He didn't give us. I don't think that there's any thing.
Hayden.
Yeah, I agree with Natalie. And also, to add on to it, angels are messengers of God, not God sends His angels, not. And so, just to seek something like that out, I don't know. I don't think it's all. They don't always talk to those to spirits, but if they do, it's
Yeah, Morgan.
I'll say like the Bible did tell us to question our experience.
Depending on so go make a new church. Question you have to like question why make a new church at the church for so long. Like that's just an example. But also like demons look a lot like angels. Like you're not gonna follow something new.
They were angels.
They were angels, yes, and they look pretty much identical to angels. They're not gonna exactly like in the sense of like loving at beings. They're not gonna like look like devils and like red ones, fire stabbing you in the eyes and all that.
Right. Yeah. My favorite singer.
One guy.
My favorite singer wrote a song called "Beautiful Liar," and it's all about Satan. Yeah.
We're seeking out that kind of reassurance. For example, with the dead relatives, we're looking for nothing more than peace. And just like you said, when you're seeking something like that, you really shouldn't be messing with. You really shouldn't be messing with that sort of realm, especially since it cannot be anything other than because yes, like you said, angels are instruments from God, and there's no other way that we can just say, hey, like, I'm gonna come to you because that's not how it works. And I don't think you're able to like connect with presences or spirits that are from heaven because I don't think that's how it works. Like how the sense of peace that person is where they're supposed to be out of heaven. don't think we're able to connect. And Satan is very relevant and profound and clearly on earth. And so I think that's where we're able to connect to help.
Yes.
I just have a question. So there's people that like are able to talk to. So let's say that a person who did that, then they became a Christian. So would they lose then? They would be able to get more because
They wouldn't want to. Because, well, let me first say this, and then I'll wrap this up. Just for clarity's sake, the song was not Beautiful Liar. It was Counterfeit King. At the end, he calls, in case there's a random stuff. That's not the name of the song. It's Counterfeit King. And at the end, he says he's a liar, a beautiful liar. And he is beautiful because he too was an angel. And so very, very astute thoughts and great feedback on that. I believe that when someone, there are shysters out there, right? There are people that just scam. They go online and find out stuff about people, whatever. But I believe, like who my friend talked to, was talking to someone. Demons. Talking to demons. And we are told, as I think Ayla said, we are warned about that sort of thing. And I would go so far to say avoid anything connected to the spirit world that is not, and that would be Ouija boards, that would be seances, because if it's not of God, and it's spiritual, there's only one other source. And messing around with that can have horrible consequences. Yes.
It's really odd how commercialized at first levels been, like Spiritism. Like even though agnosticism and atheism is one of the but so is Spiritism. And I've even seen commercials, ads for different animals that are feet have different marks on them. It's really odd to see it all. And even friends I have that are agnostic why would you be, even if it's not real, it has no consequences, why would you make that?
Yeah, it's nothing to play around with. So we'll finish this up now. Oh wait, here it is. Okay. So we did this at the very beginning, and we talked about how our worldview, our worldview, whatever it is the foundation of our life, and it shapes not only what we value, what we believe, but ultimately it shapes our behavior. So someone with a Christian worldview as opposed to a spiritist worldview or a theistic worldview is going to see the world fundamentally differently, is going to value fundamentally different things. And then the behavior flows out of those values. And that's true for all of us. Even if we hold to a Christian worldview, our conduct will show what we actually value, if we truly value that. And that's true for everyone, based on what we value and what we believe, what we value, and our behavior is predicated on that. So I'm going to read this and then we'll be done for today. This might be in your book. I don't know. It's the conclusion. As we begin to grasp the concept of a worldview, we recognize that we all have one. It is like a pair of glasses through which we see the world. Though we may not be able to easily identify a person's worldview, it is ever present below the surface, profoundly shaping a person's values and behavior. Our understanding of this reality should affect how we interact with others. The Christian worldview is more than just a feel-good emotional response to love. It is a belief system that can and should be lived out and defended in our culture, where so many other ideas compete for the minds and hearts of people. It is critical that we become intimately familiar with the truth of Christ in order that we might recognize the many false claims to truth and earn the right to share the truth of the Scriptures with others. The best way to share the truth of God is to love God by knowing the Scriptures and by being obedient to them, and also to love others. It is how we live and how we love our friends and our enemies that will show the world who we are. The remainder of our classes will focus on discovering more about the foundation of the Christian worldview and how we can live it out by understanding how others think, as well as learning about the pressing social and moral issues of our day. So from here, we're going to talk more about how do we live out this Christian worldview and how do we think Christianly, to take a word from Dr. Ekman, how do we think Christianly about different issues in our culture. And we, once we're done with all of the required, I think there's supposed to be 5, but I only do 4 of them. So once we're done with that, then we'll be able to pick which other lessons you want to do by class vote. Okay, but I always keep the two classes together, so it will be the vote over the whole senior class. Does that make sense? That's it for today. You're welcome to chat.